This club was made famous by Carol Doda, who became San Francisco's first topless dancer in 1964 and first bottomless dancer in 1969. Oh, classy, Simon, classy.
Nice.
Today's episode is brought to you by Sheath Underwear. I'm going to tell you more about them later. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Brain Blaze. As always, I'm your host, Simon Wams here. One of my writers, Kevin, has written me a script, the Coital Darwin Awards. It's going to get spicy. And also, I remember the Darwin Awards. One of the first ones I ever wrote was about these two people who were doing coitus. Is that the correct use of coitus? Like doing coitus, being coital, coitaling together?
Welcome.
And they were like parked in a car on the top of like a mountain or whatever, and there was a lightning storm, and then the dude was on top or whatever, and his butt was sticking up in the air, and boom, and it fried his dick off. I can't remember if that's actually true, but I remember like it was like when I was a teenager or something, someone had a copy of the Darwin Awards, and that was one of them. We were all like, oh my god, look, because we were teenage boys, and it still amuses me today, which probably says something about my mental development. Let's jump in. We all know that nobody likes being stuck in a monotonous dead-end job. I know, tell me about it, Kevin. Every day the same thing. Blah, 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 blah. I'm just kidding. I like my job. I'm pretty lucky that I get to do this rather than like something boring. It's probably why Simon constantly brings up the 2 weeks or whatever he did when he worked at a grocery store as a reminder to keep himself chasing his dreams and never let that happen again. You're fucking right. Yeah, it was about 2 weeks. No, I can't remember. It was at least a year. I mean, I only worked there on weekends and on Tuesday evening, maybe until like 10:30 at night when the store... No, I was until 10, and then the store closed at 10, and then we got to leave at 10:30 or something after facing up the store, which is this thing where even if you're out of stock of shit, you have to bring all the stuff to the front so the store looks nice. And yeah, that's that fun fact there. So glad that you're here. Oh my god, what is this channel? Fascinating tangent, Simon. Let's carry on. After all, we want to look back on our lives and feel like we've accomplished something of value, or at least led a happy life, but sometimes those lives are tragically cut short. Of course, nobody wants to die of a heart attack while stocking shelves, only for the local headline to read, local man dies under mundane circumstances. Well, the worst thing of all, Kevin, is there would be no headline. No one's going to report on the death of the guy stocking the shelves at the Sainsbury's. It's just going to be like, there's going to be a quiet funeral with a few people showing up, and that's that. Because people who aren't notable, they don't have headlines after they die.
Are you challenging me?
Just before we continue with today's video, let me tell you about our fantastic sponsor today, which would be Sheath Underwear. And trust me, these are clean. They're wrinkly, just like they came out of the packet, because I wouldn't want to show you my worn underwear because that would be kind of gross. Look, Sheath Underwear will be the most comfortable boxer briefs that you've ever worn. The most comfortable underwear you've ever worn. No more readjusting, no more feeling too conscripted, no more feeling, but also too loose. Too much looseness is a thing. Right, guys? Jangling about, nogging against stuff, it's not nice. This is what you need. This is the real deal. What they have is they have something called the dual pouch system, which is a fantastic way of basically keeping all of your various man parts separated for additional comfort. And look, spring is here. Summer is around the corner. These will keep you cool in the summer. It sounds weird at first, but then you try it and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. That's what it's about. And then you order more Sheath, and then you order more Sheath, and then before you know it, all you have is Sheath. Plus, they've got new stuff. They've got new ones made out of bamboo. They haven't sent me those. I don't know why. I can't tell you whether they're good or not. I assume they are because everything Sheath make are good. And there's also mesh ones, which are fantastic. So if you want to experience the most comfortable underwear you'll ever wear, head on over to sheathunderwear.com and use my promo code BLAZE and you'll get 20% off your order. And if you're thinking, oh, Simon, but I'm a woman, which analytically is unlikely. 80% of people who watch this channel are men. Maybe you're one of the 20%. Buy this for your husband. Buy this for your boyfriend. It's a brilliant idea. Why not? There's a link below. And now back to today's video.
Promo code BLAZE!
If you have to die prematurely, most people would rather it happen while they were painting or skydiving or doing a literal mountain of cocaine. Oh my, yes. You know that sort of thing that makes people say, well, at least he died doing something that he loved. Yes, Kevin, yes! Condoms save lives. It was June the 22nd, 2021, and Salman Mirza was just your average 29-year-old Indian man who rented a hotel room with his fiancée for a wild night of drugs and sex. That's something I've never done in my life. It's my fiance. Don't you have where do you live? Oh, Indians, they have that strong family thing. Well, they'll live okay, I get it a bit more. But it's still something I've never done. What are we doing? Gonna rent a hotel room and have wild sex and do loads of drugs. It's gonna be like in the movies. As the night progressed and they found themselves intoxicated with love and allegedly narcotics, the two decided to embark upon some more amorous activities. But oh no, they forgot to bring a condom. This sounds like the start to a lot of comedy routines. Was Salmon going to start knocking on doors, asking if someone had a spare condom? Was he going to run to the nearest convenience store with hilarious results?
There is a solution. SOS Condoms application.
No, there wasn't any time for any of that. His girlfriend was horny now, and Salmon was a man of quick thinking. Rather than waste their time trying to find a condom, the couple realized they could just use the epoxy glue that they were allegedly huffing to glue Salmon's penis closed so that his little Salmon couldn't swim upstream. Are you fucking shitting me, bro? What are you actually thinking? What are you actually up to? That is... I don't know what level of horny you are, Salmon, but that's not right. And have you not heard of the, what's the medical name for it? It's is it interruption method? Pull out? Salmon, it's not that complicated, bro. The next morning, he was found unconscious in a bush outside the hotel by a friend. Salmon would later go on to die from multiple organ failures. What with the epoxy glue they poured inside his penis being toxic and all. Oh my god, I feel bad now. I just assumed this was one of those ones where, because Darwin Awards aren't necessarily about death. They're also just about your removing yourself from the gene pool. So my assuming was that this removed Salmon's ability to reproduce or whatever, either by poison or the fact that he glued his cock shut. Which is a phrase I never thought I'd say. Glued his cock shut. That happens. But no, he died, which makes it a bit more morbid, doesn't it? And as we know, death isn't funny, except for the times that it is.
World's a dangerous place, Moran. Yeah, until you learn how to live in it. Fine.
Media outlets around the world immediately picked up on the story, from the Times of India. Well, that doesn't sound like it's around the world. That sounds like the Times, but in India. With the entire globe laughing at the idiot junkie who died from gluing his penis shut. However, things got a bit more mysterious when just a couple of weeks later, the autopsy results came in. Salmon did not have any narcotics or any other illegal drugs in his system. Of course, if he was huffing glue, as is believed, that wouldn't show up on the tests as far as I can tell. Salmon's yes. Have you done any drugs? None that could be detected, my good man. Salmon's sister claimed that I remember once when I'm sure I've told this story as well, like when I was a student or whatever as a kid.
Time up.
All right. See you in the next one, Sam.
I do these experimental medical things where they give you take drugs for money as experiments, and you had to be clean. So I didn't smoke pot very often as a student because it was I need that out of my system so I can pass the drug tests and earn lots of money testing experimental drugs for money. And I'm sitting in the waiting room where you piss in a cart, they give you a medical exam and stuff to make sure that you're healthy. And the dude next to me is like, bro. Because if you fail a drug test, they ban you from doing it forever. And he's like, bro, do you know how long cocaine stays in your system? Because I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure I did some coke this weekend. And I'm like, dude, don't risk it. He's like, I drank loads of water. According to his sister, he broke off the engagement after he caught his girlfriend talking to other men. This raises the question of why they went to the hotel room together, and sadly the trail goes cold here, so I can't tell you whether this was an accident or a murder. Who murders someone by gluing their cock shut? Since it's been 2 years with no updates and there's no reason to think this would actually be an effective way of murdering someone, I'm willing to wager that it was just a stupid accident. So remember, always bring a condom, or since she was supposedly his fiancée and thus they ideally wouldn't be worried about STDs, just make sure that you pull out in time. I told you. I mean, that doesn't protect you against diseases. So look, if disease is something you have to worry about, don't be doing that. But I mean, it's better than gluing your penis shut, isn't it, Salmon?
This lady needs our help. Good job, lads. Listen.
Did you just come?
No!
Is that bad advice? Yes, but while the pull-out method is not the most effective form of contraception, it is far less deadly than gluing your damn penis closed. Homemade nipple clamps. On January the 23rd, 2008, police arrived at the Pennsylvania home of Toby and Kirsten Taylor. They found Toby on the phone with 911 as he attempted to perform CPR on his wife. Oh my god. This is so bad. I hate these ones where it's he glued his penis shut. He was performing CPR on his wife. And it's like, oh, Kevin, It's just like from here to here. And I know Salman died, but he also glued his penis shut. And then it's like, I feel like a bad person when I'm like having a laugh. Because obviously you are. And like, not you. I mean, it's like I'm talking to myself. I am. Oh.
Man, I'm dead.
She was lying on the floor fully clothed, and Toby claimed that she had been drying her hair when she shocked herself. He mentioned that he had dressed her himself because she was still breathing at first, and he thought he was going to have to drive her to the hospital. Police found this all to be a bit suspicious, especially because there wasn't a hairdryer in the bathroom. Toby claimed he'd put it under the sink after Kirsten shocked himself, though the cabinets under the sink conveniently had child locks on them, so police couldn't check. What? The police couldn't work out a child lock. What is it? Officer Dumb and Officer Dumber. Like, I can't open it. Come over and have a look at this, Jeff. It's like you just use the magnet or the little clip thing. It's not that hard. Or you just yank it open. You're a cop. Do it. Just do it. It's not locked. It's a child lock. Maybe you need a warrant for that. But I can't imagine any part of Toby's story making rational sense to anyone. If I was with a girl and she got electrocuted by a hairdryer, I'd immediately have called 911 instead of carefully locking the dryer and dressing her first. Maybe if I had a clear enough head, I might pull the plug out of the wall so that the possessed dryer didn't burn the house down. But honestly, I think I'd be too focused on her safety to even think about that. Wait. Basic training, like I've done the first aid course or whatever, is you must disconnect the electrics first. Before you even see to the person, you have to pull it out so you don't hurt yourself and they continue hurting themselves. You disconnect the electrics, that's number one, and then you check on them. Right? First aid people, doctors, is this right? Am I getting this right? Let me know in the comments. It should come as no surprise the police were right to suspect Toby was hiding something, and he immediately caved as soon as he was questioned. He admitted that while the death was an accident, the electrocution was intentional. The couple had been playing with homemade electric nipple clamps. Oh, God. Unless you're either a skilled engineer or a skilled electrician, there is no excuse for any sentence that you should include the words homemade and electric.
Don't do it. I'm a virgin.
I understand that some people may be embarrassed to walk to their local sex shop, but looking at Amazon right now... You're going to get so many adverts for shit, Kevin. I can see a wide range of 4-star rated electric nipple clamps for $20 or less that can be delivered direct to your doorstep, although I'd be very nervous about buying something for $20 like that. It's not a lot of money, right? There is absolutely no reason to do something stupidly dangerous. Of course, we only have Toby's account to go on of what happened that night. He claimed that Kirsten shocked herself first by plugging the clamps into a power strip. Whoa! 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 Oh my God. Like messing around with electronics, if they're battery powered, fine, that can be a hobby. Like, I used to put together those little electric kits when I was a kid. That's a fun hobby. The number of those things that plugged into the fucking wall is 0. I once got a shock off a mains outlet. It was extremely unpleasant. I was like, I gotta have a lie down. That was rough. And then he shocked her 3 more times before she collapsed. Allegedly, they'd been doing this for years without incident. The county coroner felt that even if this was true, Toby should have known that doing this could kill her. Also, if they were into it enough to do it for years, just spend the $20 on a real toy instead of essentially hooking up your wife to a car battery. Oh, Kevin, it's worse than that. Like a car battery, yes, it could deliver some power, but a mains outlet, bro? While only Kirsten died in this event, Toby also managed to remove himself from the gene pool for the foreseeable future. The coroner ruled the death a homicide and, oh no. And in 2014, Toby was convicted of murder and sentenced to 24 to 40 years in prison. That's fucked up, bro. I'm pretty sure under British law there's something called, this would fall under horseplay. Sexual horseplay. But like, horseplay nonetheless. It's like he didn't intend to kill her. You have to have. There's the 2 things for the crime. There's the actus reus, the action, and the mens rea. He didn't intend to kill her. That's fucked up. Free Toby. # free Toby. 40 years. I'm sorry. That's insane. It was an accident. Oh my God. You have to mentally, he couldn't reasonably foresee that. That's fucked up, justice system. Free Toby. Piano Man. If you were to show up to your favorite titty bar, I feel classless saying that somehow. It's a gentleman's club, Kevin. It's a gentleman's club. only to discover that it had been sealed off by the coroner, you'd probably be worried that your favorite dancer had fallen victim to an unruly patron or a jealous boyfriend. But what you probably wouldn't expect is that the deceased was actually a 40-year-old male employee. Actually, maybe that's exactly what you'd expect, since the guy's name was James Jimmy the Beard Ferozzo. Though I don't think 1983 San Francisco is really known for its high level of mafia activity. Oh, okay. He's mafia. Okay, good. The topless club in question, the Condor Club, was a classy place and a historical icon. Can strip clubs be classy? Aren't they by definition a bit seedy? Even the nice ones is like, yeah, but this is seedy, isn't it? Just by its nature. Like, if I owned a strip club, I probably wouldn't go, even if it was a classy strip club, I'd probably still go around telling people, it's like, what do you do? Oh, commercial property. Import, export. You know those generic job titles that I feel drug dealers use? This club was made famous by Carol Doda, who became San Francisco's first topless dancer in 1964 and first bottomless dancer in 1969. Oh, classy, Simon, classy.
Nice.
One of the staples of Carol's act that helped make her famous was a piano. She would stand atop a grand piano, dancing as it was lowered from the ceiling by stage hydraulics. Fast forward to 1983, and both Carol and the piano were still at the club. One night, Jimmy, who worked as the assistant manager of the Condor Club, decided to bring his girlfriend Teresa there after hours for some hanky-panky. That sounds romantic. Where are we going for a date? We're going to the strip club where I work after hours, and we're going to get it on. Oh, maybe they could be into some role play, like she plays a stripper. I don't know. Look, whatever. Not judging.
But you are! You better say sorry. Why should I?
Because nothing says romance like having sex in the place where your boyfriend gets paid to watch other women dance topless for 40 plus hours a week. Yes. Also that, though. The two decided that atop the club's famous piano was the perfect place to engage in their little escapade, but it was absolutely not. One of them accidentally hit the switch that would raise the piano to the ceiling, but it seems like neither of them were overly concerned by this. According to the club's other employees, it took the piano 9 seconds to reach the ceiling, so they certainly should have time to react. It's unclear whether they thought the piano would stop before actually reaching the ceiling, if they did know where the controls were or how to use them, or if they simply didn't notice. Presumably it was the first one, and they just kept going because they thought that having sex on a flying piano was pretty cool, and to be fair, is pretty cool. If the story had ended differently, then I would have been inclined to agree. Kevin and I are absolutely on the same page then. I'm loving it. Upon reaching the ceiling, Jimmy was crushed. Not crushed like a bug, but enough that he died of asphyxiation.
The fuck?
Although he had been on top, he was fortunately positioned in such a way that Teresa did not suffer the same fate as him. Instead, she had to lie there naked for hours until a janitor finally showed up and found them at 7 a.m. She then had to remain there for another 3 hours and change until the fireman could finally free her. Oh my lordy lord. I guess the lesson here is don't have sex on top of heavy machinery powered by hydraulics. It's a useful lesson, Kevin, even if it just looks like a piano. Anything to win a bet. Sergei Tuganov was just a regular Joe, or I suppose a regular Ivan, since this story takes place in Moscow. I like how different countries have their own people. Like in the US, you have like John Doe, right? In the UK, we have Joe Blogs. Here in Czech, it's Jan Novak. So, you see those adverts for credit cards and it says like Joe Blogs or John Doe. Here in Czech, it says Jan Novak because that's like the common man name. Fascinating tangent, Simon. Let's carry on. He was 28-year-old mechanic and not particularly attractive. You could definitely do worse, but there's no way he had ladies lining up to compete for his affection. Then one day, in early 2009, Sergei must have thought he hit the jackpot. 2 female friends of his, who have not been identified to the public but were described as being extremely attractive, decided to make a bet with him. They wagered $4,300 that he could not have a 12-hour-long threesome with them and keep them both fully satisfied until the end. What the fuck sort of agreement is this? This is very bizarre. I've seen the amount of the wager listed as £3,000 as well, so I assume that it was some amount of rubles that was converted. But I'm getting way off track here. If 2 other girls walked up to me and were like, "Hey Kevin, we've got $4,000 here. It says you can't have sex with us both for 12 hours straight," I would win that bet or die trying. Jesus, I'm getting the feeling that that's what Ivan did, or whatever his name was. Okay, maybe that wasn't the best time for that particular turn of phrase, but Sergey absolutely agreed with me. He was going to do whatever it took to win the bet. And in his mind, whatever it took was going to mean Viagra. Like any medication, even over-the-counter ones, the bottle is entirely covered in warnings and directions that Sergey just didn't have time to read. Instead, in a decision he probably would have second-guessed 12 hours later after experiencing the world's most epic case of post-nut clarity, he decided to swallow the entire bottle. Sergey, you maniac! From there, it was time to get down to f***ing.
I will now show you f***ing.
Sergey immediately began to prove either his skills or the efficacy of the little blue pill. You can take your pick for which one you think it was. He spent an hour satisfying both women. 1 hour turned to 2, then 3, and then 12. After 12 full hours, Sergey stood up victorious, ready to claim his prize money from the 2 very satisfied women.
Women have also come to love f***ing.
Oh my god, this is insane. This is an insane story. That's when he collapsed to the floor dead on an overdose of Viagra. I'm very curious how many Viagras come in like a bottle. How much of this shit did he take? Honestly, it's probably for the best anyway. Not the bit where he died before he was 30. That part is tragic and stuff, I guess. Savage, Kevin. But if Sergey had survived, nobody would have ever believed his story. Instead, his unusual death made world news, and the otherwise autonomous mechanic will live forever in history as an absolute sexual legend and a bit of an idiot.
They love me.
Sex on a hot tin roof. It was just after 5 a.m. on June the 20th, 2007, when a taxi driver noticed something in the street. After investigating, he realized that the something were naked and deceased bodies of Brent Tyler and Chelsea Tumbleston, 2 21-year-old graduates of the University of South Carolina who met while working at Wild Wings Cafe. It didn't take police long to figure out what had happened when they found the couple's clothing on the roof of the nearby Palmetto Armory, a popular South Carolina chain specializing in guns and ammo. Brent and Chelsea had, for some unknown reason, decided to go and have sex on the roof of the building late at night or early in the morning. Unfortunately, this was a poorly thought out plan. I don't know what's going to go wrong so far, so I'm not sure how they could have thought this out. The roof of the building was elevated 50 feet off the ground, and it was smooth metal shaped like a pyramid. Not only was it much steeper than the couple must have realized, but the metal also was slick from recent rainfall. As soon as they started to slip, it was already too late. There was nothing on the roof they could grab hold of, and their bare skin against the damp metal couldn't generate enough friction to prevent them from falling. Police determined that all of the injuries sustained by the couple happened as a result of the fall, not from anything that happened beforehand, and there was no foul play involved in their deaths. This one's not funny, it's just sad. These preliminary findings were later confirmed by a homeless man who had just been enjoying the show. Oh my god. This is just sad. Not only is this a stark reminder of why you should pay attention in physics class, but it also proves that the old adage is true. Guns don't kill people, buildings where guns are sold kill people. Check your carbon monoxide detectors. Oh yes, this comes up all the time on my other show, Casual Criminalist, because carbon monoxide makes people crazy and it kills people. Get a carbon monoxide detector. I decided to end today's episode with what seems to be Simon's favorite topic, carbon monoxide. Mario Bugiaunu. Let's just call him Mario. Big M was a centre forward for the First Division Romanian soccer team, Gloria Bistrita. I can't figure out exactly what that means in terms of being the equivalent of a major or minor league team, and it looks like they were dissolved in 2015. First Division, I don't know. I guess that's got to be pretty high up, right? I feel like there's maybe one above that, like Champion Division or whatever, but First Division I feel like would be, strangely, the second ranking of clubs somehow. Unless our resident sports expert Simon happens to know more of this, let's just say it was to a moderate to big deal. On Sunday, March the 22nd, 1999, Mario and his girlfriend, Marilia Lancu, had just returned to Mario's house, presumably from church, since Romania is an extremely Christian country.
Behold the f***ing church.
All that Jesus talk must have got the couple really riled up, because they couldn't even bother to go inside and they began having sex in the car while it was still running, parked in the garage with the door closed. What are you up to? Mario's father found them dead in the car the next morning. Police ruled it an accident and stated that the couple must have been unaware of the dangers of carbon monoxide, the silent killer. But it doesn't have to be that silent. Make sure you check the batteries in your carbon monoxide detector today. Or more importantly, a lot of people just don't have them. Go get one. Thanks for watching. 29-year-old Indian man who rented a hotel room with his fiancée for a wild night of drugs and sex.